The rain was coming down hard the night a hungry boy stood outside a small grocery store, shaking with cold, pride, and fear. His stomach burned like fire, his shoes were torn, and his pockets were empty. When the shop lights went off and the door closed, he knew no one was coming for him. That was when a black girl stepped out holding a paper bag. "Hey," she said softly, as if she didn't want to scare him. "You look like you haven't eaten." He wanted to say no. He wanted to lie. But hunger is louder than pride. She handed him the bag. Inside was warm bread, beans, and a small piece of chicken. Food she had bought with the little money she earned cleaning houses after school. He ate like someone who hadn't eaten in days. Tears mixed with the rain on his face, though he tried to hide them. "My name is Daniel," he said when he finally looked up. "I'm Naomi," she replied, smiling. "You don't have to rush. I can wait." That night, under a flickering streetlight, something small but unbreakable was born. Daniel was poor in a way that follows you everywhere. His father was gone. His mother worked until her hands cracked and still couldn't keep food on the table. Some nights Daniel slept hungry. Some nights he slept outside. But every evening, Naomi found him. Sometimes she brought food. Sometimes just company. Sometimes both. They sat on the curb and talked about dreams. "One day," Daniel said, staring at the sky, "I'll be rich. Not a little rich. Real rich." Naomi laughed. "What would you do with all that money?" He looked at her, serious despite his age. "I'd never let you work so hard again.
It will change everything.
I'd buy you a house. I'd marry you." She stopped laughing. "You promise?" she asked, half joking, half afraid to believe. "I promise," he said. "When I'm rich, I'll come back for you." Life, however, does not pause for promises. Naomi's mother fell sick. Hospital bills piled up. Naomi dropped out of school to work full-time. Daniel was taken by social services after his mother collapsed at work and never recovered. They were separated without a goodbye. Years passed. Naomi grew into a woman shaped by sacrifice. She worked 2 jobs, then 3. She cleaned offices at night and served food during the day. People looked through her like she was invisible. Men came and went, but none stayed. Her heart was still holding space for a boy who once promised her the impossible. Sometimes she laughed at herself for believing it. Daniel's life was brutal in a different way. Foster homes, rejection, hunger that returned in waves. But anger fueled him. He studied when others slept. He worked when others rested. Failure followed him, but so did obsession. He remembered Naomi's face every time he wanted to quit. "I'll come back," he whispered to himself on the nights he slept on library floors. "I promised." Years turned into decades. Daniel disappeared from the world Naomi knew. Naomi stayed in the same neighborhood, now older, quieter, tired. She ran a small food stall, feeding people who reminded her of a boy she once saved. She never told anyone why she fed strangers for free when she could barely afford rent. One afternoon, a black luxury car stopped near her stall. People stared. A man stepped out wearing a tailored suit, expensive watch, calm confidence. He looked around slowly, like someone searching for a memory. Naomi didn't recognize him at first. Then their eyes met. Time froze. The boy who once shook with hunger was gone. In his place stood a man who carried the weight of the world in his posture. "Naomi," he said, voice breaking. Her hands trembled. "Daniel?" He nodded. "I told you I'd come back," he whispered. "I told you when I was rich." Tears rolled down her face before she could stop them. He had become everything he promised. A self-made millionaire. A man who owned companies, buildings, power. But what he wanted most stood behind a food stall, wearing tired eyes and quiet strength. "I searched for you," he said. "For years. I waited," she replied. "Even when I told myself not to." The world around them faded. There were no cameras. No applause. Just 2 souls meeting again after a lifetime of pain. Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out a small ring. Not flashy. Not loud. Simple. Honest. I don't know if I deserve you, he said. But I never forgot who fed me when I had nothing. I never forgot the girl who believed in a boy with empty pockets and impossible dreams. Naomi looked at him through tears and smiled the same smile she had under that streetlight. You kept your promise, she said. And this time, she believed it. As the rain began to fall again, just like that first night, Daniel dropped to one knee, not as a rich man, not as a poor boy, but as a man finally home.